Hello, I'm Jules. I am the founder of the Moonwash, which is a women's online intuitive gathering to assist us all in attuning to the moon cycle, the precious, incredible, ancient, timeless rhythmic cycle to which we can return and transform our lives. I've been working with the moon cycle myself for 10 years. I live in the north of Ibiza, and ever since I've lived here, which is actually 12 years, I have seen the moon in the sky, listened to nature, noticed the cycles and the rhythms, and encouraged myself to return to those in a society. I'm from England by birth. In a society that teaches us to run forwards, to obtain, to become, to camouflage our nature. I woke up in my mid-30s. I'm 51 now. I woke up, had a big kind of, you would say, spiritual awakening, a real forceful, how could you describe it? Experience, I suppose, in which I felt myself connected back to nature. It was like being struck by lightning. At the time in my life, I'd been working on releasing a lot of resistance in my mind. I was noticing that I was stuck in very heavy patterns, that relationships weren't flowing, that I was attached to drama and problems, and I started to seek help for it. And it was in gaining the help and opening up my resistance that I allowed myself to realize that it was my perspective of life and my attachment to self-negative thoughts that were causing the outer situations to occur. So, to cut a long decade story short, I've created the Moonwash to assist myself and others to clean their perspectives. So, like a little bit like a laundry in a way, we wash clothes, we wash our cars, we wash our dogs. We spend a fortune washing our dogs sometimes. But when do we clean our minds? And where in society do we get this knowledge that we can clear our perspectives of the modern way of life, and that actually there is an ancient, original way of living that nature guides us through? And just like flowers and plants and animals, we can grow over time, we can change over time, we can let go over time. And the moon cycle, more than any of the universal forces, I feel is so visible to us and so quickly transformational in our lives when we start to understand it. I think somebody may have joined me. I didn't know whether anyone would because I haven't told anybody about it. So if you are there and you want to say hi, let me know. Welcome. I'm relaunching this Moonwash this year. I've had about, I think I've had about 2 months off, and just gave myself to clear my perspective on this process that I'm sharing, and to see if I can improve it in any way, and to come back with a fresh feeling and a new sense of this year, what we're all facing in life as life gets so intense, and what tools I can add to this process to assist everybody. These live calls I make outside of the program, the Moonwash. You don't have to be part of the program. I just think that every woman on the planet, if they don't know already, needs to know that the moon cycle will help them and transform them. So these videos are free, and the program that I offer is a private area on my website where I lead groups of women through communal transformation, the messages you receive or gain access to, you do in the privacy of your own home every day of the cycle. It gives you a journey to go on over 3 moons, which you can redo over and over again if you wish. And then there are monthly private online, you could call them trainings or deeper understandings of how to apply the moon cycle to your life, when to be active, when to be passive, when to listen more to your intuition, and when to just get on with things. There are male times of the moon cycle, there are female times of the cycle, and these things didn't have to be taught back thousands of years ago. These things were natural, they were passed down through generations. Women were very, very valued in society up until 3,000 years ago, and the goddess was worshipped in tandem to the god. It was known, of course, that they're both needed. A man comes through a woman in order to be on earth, and a woman needs a man to give her the sperm to create a new being. We need each other. We are equal to each other. We are profoundly different. But we're both as valuable as the other, and everyone knew that. And then religion kicked in, patriarchy kicked in, the woman's wisdom and intuition was classed as somehow illegal, women even being burnt at the stake. So over our generations, with our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, we've had to mask our intuitive side, to mask our rhythmic side. We've had to jump on the bus of ambition and success in order to be heard. We've had to gain a male voice. And I feel like, having a male voice now in this world is necessary for women. But it's half of the story. So now that we've gained our independence, or many of us have, we can safely return to the feminine and reclaim the ancient wisdom and bring that into harmony with the male world, with our own male side. Up until the 1970s, for anyone that's much younger than me, I was born in 68, women couldn't sign legal documents, particularly to buy anything over time. So she couldn't gain credit without her husband's signature. So it wasn't as though a woman could go and buy a house with another man's signature. It had to be a husband. So you can see the drive to gain a husband isn't just about romance and Walt Disney movies. It was actually about survival. Most women didn't have a job that would afford to buy a house anyway. So they would have a man as a means of surviving. It wouldn't even cross their mind to not have a husband. So now, having that free reign to buy our own things, we're in a completely different position where we can start looking back and reflecting as, why is society driving us to these goals? Why am I feeling a lack if I'm not married or if I don't have children? Actually, could it be natural for me to not be married and maybe choose that I don't feel to have children or not? It's up to us to feel our true essence. And I don't believe there's a right or a wrong for anyone. It's just a case of, what do you really need? Who really are you? So now that we're not driven by necessity, many thousands of women around the world are starting to gain access to this information. And I am so grateful that I was one of them. Back in the early 2000s, this information was just falling into my lap. I was taken to see an astrologer. I went to a trance dance and saw visions of myself in my inner eye teaching moon cycles to women. I was so sure of this vision, and also at the same time had no idea what that was about. It was like this me in this physical life didn't understand, but the soul of me, the essence of me, was showing me who I really was, and a veil was opening in my mind where it's like I was remembering something I didn't even know I'd forgotten. That makes me emotional. And I will sit here and say that I believe that applies, that memory, that remembrance applies to all of us, men and women, that we're so much more than what we see in the mirror. So that is my mission and my purpose in this lifetime. And I don't have a husband, and I don't have children, and I don't believe as a soul that has been my destiny. I'm a natural being. I live near a forest. I didn't used to live like that, but now that I've remembered who I am, nature is my husband. I'm not saying that I don't love men or like to have a relationship, but I marry myself to life, not to a person or an object. So having worked with women from all over the world over the last 10 years while I've been here, with this hat on, I can say that I see a grand awakening within women as we're all sort of getting to the top of the mountain and saying, what was that about? We've got this independence, but what for? There's an emptiness and a fear of this next step of the journey, which I call, you could say, no man's land, where it's not necessarily that you don't now have a relationship, but you consider life transcendent of men or transcendent of this male dominated world. And if it isn't, what is it in that no man's land? We're fearful of this void, but the truth is no man's land is woman's land, and that does have substance. It isn't nothing. Feminine energy is not nothing. It's spacious, it's sacred, it's beautiful, it connects the dots. We could say, you could describe feminine energy as like the air that we breathe. We can't hold it, but it keeps us alive. It's fluid, it's flexible, it's passive, it's life, it's breath. The feminine cannot be held onto, but unless we don't allow feminine through our bodies, we get too rigid and we get too masculine. So this is my goal in life. My intention is to share more of this feminine wisdom and to bring it back into the world. Up until a couple of years ago, I was running a new moon, which happens once a month, a new moon hammam for women. Again, something that I felt so called to, and like I just did it effortlessly. A woman's hammam over the new moon, where women would come together into the steam room. That's what a hammam is, if you don't know it. It's a Moroccan hammam that exists on this island, and we would go there together, drink tea, share food. We would scrub each other's backs. We had this beautiful black Moroccan soap to cleanse our skin and then exfoliate, get really steamed and glowing, and then tip buckets of cold ice water over us. And it felt like I'd gone to heaven, but it felt so ancient and current all at the same time. It's like women love beauty, but when do we do that together without the idea of just this external looking better or being stronger or being prettier than her or getting him? It's this joining together of women, and I'd have up to 30 women during the day, was about community. It was about nobody needs me. It was about, we were naked, most of us. It was about, look, this is what I look like underneath this outfit. Oh, that's what that looks like. She looks like that. And seeing this this kind of mix of women's shapes and sizes, and everyone just like letting it all hang out was so nourishing for me. And I don't even know how I had the courage to create this, having not had experience before. But still, people ask me, Julie, can you do it again? Because the yumminess, I called it like the egg yolk. It was like the yumminess of the women's energy all combined when they weren't worried or trying to mask who they were. To me, it's precious and priceless. And it's my purpose, I believe, to give more opportunity for women to bring that into the world, to bring that into the workplace, to bring that into their family, to bring that into the traffic jam, to have this connection within herself where she knows, the universe has got me. I have got me. My tribe has got me. Life is good. And when I learn to slow down and I work with rhythmic cycles and I'm not just constantly jettisoning myself up, I know to come up and down like the moon cycle, that things start to improve. They may slow down, but maybe that's a good thing for us. They start to improve. So the process that I share, whether or not you join the program or not, is about lightening our lives and lightening our perspective on what we're being told to be and what we're being told to buy or to have. It's a space in which we get to hear our own inner voice. This isn't about me telling you what to want. This is about me holding space for you, technologically, electronically, in the process of the journey, where you daily read information which makes you see life in a different way and helps you to listen to that inner, profound inner voice within you, which has answers. It sounds radical, and I was an atheist until those astrology reading days and trance dance initiation. I was an atheist, but where did that vision come from for me that I was going to teach moon cycles 10 years later? Where did that come from? Something showed me, and it felt like it was an arrow through my heart. It felt so real. And yet there is nothing in my life up until that point, in this physical life, that could have given me that amount of clarity. But it was having that vision and that inner sense of security that helped me to shed the life that I had in England. And I was a businesswoman. I was engaged to multimillionaire. I was living a good life materially, but on a soul level, on an emotional level, I felt like, I was heavy. I was disappointed. I felt unloved on a deep level. I was insecure. Everything for me was about how I was perceived. Did I look good? Was my business doing well? Were people listening to me at work? And all of that was good. The external approval was good. But if I really, really said what I really, really felt, or looked the way I really looked first thing in the morning, then what? Then what would people think of me? And it was this inner shame and inner self-doubt that was causing the anguish that I was living. And I don't think I'm alone as a woman in saying that we live in self-doubt. 50% of us is doubting ourselves on any moment in any day. And life does not need to be like that if and when we make time for ourselves to listen inside. And this isn't just about self-love and, put yourself first and all that kind of thing. It's not like any modern me time kind of experience. This is about creating time to reconnect to what is natural, what is ancient, and what is really making the earth turn and growing the flowers and growing our food. It's real, and it's inside the tip of our nose. We don't even realize and feel the rotation and the gravitational pulls and the times for sowing and the times for reaping. We don't feel them, and therefore we don't live with them. Looking at pyramids and temples and ancient stones, everything was placed in a position that aligned with the stars. And who knows if the Egyptians really put those pyramids there for us now to question. Why were they doing that? Why was the solstice so important? Why did the light come through that window and hit that stone? What were they maybe trying to tell us? And what were they living themselves as they felt this outer intelligence running the show, rather than them as humans running the show? Because I think now in modern day life, we think we are running the show and we've got to save nature and we're in charge of the planet. It's like, well, we're not. There's something much more powerful, and it will help us if we listen to it. So that's, I hope, a summary of me and my relationship to this process. This channel, I sense, will start to include more content. It's something I'm a little bit shy or nervous about because I live such a quiet life. And I think social media makes us a bit too public at times. And I like my own private, sacred space. So I do believe that I will share much more information. But how I do that, I haven't quite worked out yet, because I would love and intend to retain my private life and my inner world. But indeed, if my message to others is to cultivate that within themselves, then it's paramount that I walk my walk and talk my talk, whilst also sharing it with people, because I know not enough people know what's available. So there'll be other videos, I'm sure. So in summary, the Moonwash starts again on the 21st of February, having been closed for 2 months. I'm calling this first one initiation. So it's a 3-month, 3-moon process. And this will restart again after those 3 months. So anyone watching this video after February, don't worry, the moon cycle doesn't change. It will still be the same. So this information is relevant, but perhaps on a different date. And we will be doing a live call on Friday the 21st. And for anyone who can attend, that will be online, I think in Zoom. I'm not completely sure yet, but you'll need a computer or a phone to gain access to that. If you can't attend, that's okay. It will be recorded. And then sometime during that month, there will also be a one-to-one with me. And providing I don't have thousands of people join, which I don't sense is going to happen, not like women are running to work with the moon at the moment. Maybe they will as life gets more difficult. But there will be, during that first month, a one-to-one with me, and in any future initiations that I share. And then there'll be a monthly one-to-one. So there'll be 2 more monthlies. So 3 monthlies and 1 one-to-one. And then I give you a password to access the website, where every day you'll go in and read the day's words. So I don't send that to you. It's up to you to go in at a time that's convenient for you within your time zone. There may be some exercises, there might be a video, there might be a meditation. I also include links to some yoga classes that I like to do on YouTube, and meditations and different teachers that I've discovered over these years that are so amazing, and you may not even know. And YouTube is just so full of free, incredible information. So I also include those as links in some of the pages, but you're free, of course, to do any yoga, any meditation that you wish to do. It's just about keeping the body open and loose and taking care of this vessel. Because if you're in aches and pains, it's much more difficult to tune in. So having the meditation practice helps you to tune in. Having a flexible body helps you to tune in. If we're not taking care of ourselves, it's very unlikely that we're going to have a deep respect for our intuition. We're clearly not listening to our intuition if we're in physical aches and pains. So I fully recommend self-care along the way, and you will be a better person and able to give more to others anyway. So yes, and in the group sessions, I ask everyone to be confidential with each other, and we will create a very safe, harmonious, encouraging, nurturing space where we will all be surprised, I'm sure, by the similarities of the groups that come together, and feel, even though people's stories might be different, we'll feel a synchronicity in what they're sharing, and a gift in understanding from a different perspective, perhaps a pattern they're going through that reminds you of something you're going through. So I know that working in a group is one of the most powerful ways to shift. These group sessions I've not done before, so during the winter, this is what I felt was the difference with this relaunch, was to bring in the group monthly session. So that's my intention, is that will become a strong part of the support system. I also haven't offered a one-to-one before either. I'm going to upload this video now, and at the end of today, probably sometime towards the end of today, there will be a link available below to the website, letting you know prices, timings, how to join, etc. I do live in a very cut-off island, although of course we've got technology, but the way I lead my life is not that technological. So some of the payments, the way I pay isn't automatic. So I'll have to send you a link and you'll have to reply in person, and, you know, a little bit old fashioned, but why not keep life a bit slower and more personal? Just to gain a bit of balance in this crazy fast world. So I will have that updated by the end of today. I hope that I have helped you to see that there's another way of living if you're not already already aware of it, that women are rising in less and less masculine ways. We're returning to a softer, much more powerful sense of who we are, and that something inside us supports that. And if we learn to listen to that, our lives will completely turn around. And I live a very different life to the one that I lived in England. I have a community and a sense of trust of life that I cannot even put into words. And the proof is in the pudding. My life is the proof. My life is the pudding, that this natural teacher of ours works. So I wish you a beautiful day. May your own heart and intuition speak loudly to you when you make the space to hear. And yeah, thanks for being here. And I will see you very soon. Lots of love from the Moonwash.